the weather conditions are absolutely perfect. Hello and welcome to Boarding Now with me, Jeremy Spake. We're back with a fresh new look for 2024 and the show is now dedicated entirely to the joys of travel and discovering the world. It's great news for me as there's a fair few square miles for us to explore together. While we've been off air, we've said goodbye to the winter. Thank the Lord for that, we hear you say, which is fabulous news, of course. I do love spring and being able to get out and about to enjoy the longer days and hopefully sunnier weather. In fact, the sun put in an appearance just the other day gave me an excuse to hop into my 1987 East German Trabant, she's called Trudy, for a quick blast of fresh air and ultraviolet. Spring has finally sprung. What better thing to do than to get behind the wheel of my favourite little car, Trudy the Trappy.
The heart is a bloom, shoots up through the stony ground. There's no room, no space to rent in this town. You're out of luck, and the reason that you had to care, the traffic is stuck, and you're not moving anywhere. You thought you found a friend to take you out of this place, someone you can lend a hand in return for grace.
Fingers crossed Trudy will be back on the show later in the year when we go exploring in East Anglia. She doesn't like straying far from home on account of her age, so East Anglia it is. Let's get cracking. Each month I'll try to bring you some firm favourites as well as some less well-known gems. So to get us started, here's what's coming up in today's show. We'll be exploring the jewel of the Adriatic, Montenegro, visiting the Spanish Caribbean delight of Puerto Rico, and day tripping in Essex. And we'll be bringing you the latest travel news of what's hot in the industry. As someone who has traversed the globe for more than 40 years, I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly, let me tell you. But our first destination falls into the category of spectacular for me and is a personal favourite. Nestling on the Adriatic, offering a diverse range of experiences to suit most visitors, here's Montenegro.
Welcome to Montenegro, the small country of great opportunities, unusual, different, unique. Welcome to a hidden corner of the planet, yet to be discovered by the rest of the world. Podgorica, the capital city, located in a green valley only 40 kilometers from the sea, connecting southern and northern Montenegro, as well as different cultures, religions and nations. Cetinje, the cultural and historical treasury of a nation, the spiritual capital of Montenegro, a small city guarding the story of a king, his kingdom, his family and his subjects. After visiting the Cetinje monastery, you can go up to Ivanovo Korita to see Mount Lovćen. Budva, beautiful sandy beaches and tranquil villages in the hinterland, the peace and quiet of its monastery gardens, hidden coves, glamorous hotels, the best music festivals and concerts in Europe, the city of outdoor theatre stages, the cosy terraces of fish restaurants. Budva is also home to Sveti Stefan, a glamorous island. Bar, on the shores of the sea and the lake, a city of olives and wine and multi-ethnic harmony. Its 2,000 years old olive tree, the old town, the magnificent Skada Lake and the Srmica hinterland, whose wine cellars reportedly make the best Montenegrin wine, the Srmica Vranac. Ulcinj keeps within its walls the history of famous warriors, pirates and prisoners, such as the celebrated Cervantes. The beauty of a completely different Montenegro is hidden here, on the most beautiful beaches on the Adriatic Sea, in its waves and its winds, in the wooden cottages on the river Bojana, in the colourful feathers of the flamingos at Solana, at music festivals, and in the healing waters springing from the depths of the earth. The Bay of Kotor, the only fjord in the Mediterranean. Like a string of pearls, many towns and villages are lined up along the entire bay. It is difficult to decide which one is more beautiful than the other, and which one is more admired by the visitors. Is it Kotor, surrounded by the impressive 16th century walls, the city of carnivals and masked balls, music and dance? Kotor, with the Cathedral of St. Tripion, the Castle of San Giovanni, or St. Luke's Church. Perhaps it is the Baroque town of Perast and its Roman mosaics. They also admire Tivat, the former summer residence of rulers, noblemen and poets, its salt pans, the largest park in Montenegro, and Puerto Montenegro, the most luxurious mega yacht marina in the Mediterranean. The sunny city of Herceg-Novi, its many steps descending towards the sea, its everlasting vegetation and famous mimosa blossoms have been attracting painters, poets and writers for centuries. The national parks of Montenegro are the country's greatest treasury. Lovćen, with its dense forests, and the scenic village of Njegoši. Durmitor, with the wild river Tara, glacier lakes. Skada Lake, with its Dalmatian pelican, and Rijeka Crnovica. Beogradska Gora, with the Beogradsko Lake, located in the heart of Europe's last virgin forest. Prokletje, with Ali Pasha's springs, Lake Plav, and its unexplored, breathtaking beauty. And we haven't shown you everything yet. Kolashin, the largest ski centre, a mountain town where you will enjoy the specialities of our national cuisine. Tara, the deepest canyon in Europe, and the river that offers rafting from your wildest dreams. The most magnificent mountain centre, Žabljak, attractive during the winter, maybe even more so in the summer, with its many hiking paths, reveal the multitude of charms offered by Mount Durmitor and its lakes. What makes this country unique is primarily its extraordinary and wild beauty. Montenegro is characterized by diversity, even contradictions, both in the natural sceneries, quickly interchaining without warning, and in the tastes and aromas of its food and drinks, starting from the Mediterranean specialities, through the lake delicacies and famous wines, all the way to the traditional mountain dishes. In the course of only one day, one can enjoy magical sandy beaches, go rafting along the Tara River, see Italy from the top of Mount Lovćen, ski in Kolashin, go surfing on Ada Bojana, or fishing on the lakes. This country has been built by three different cultures. and spiritually shaped by its famous artists. In Montenegro, you can find your peace, quiet and tranquility. You can find your passionate, adventurous side. You can find happiness in the little things. You can find yourself.
Stunning. I absolutely love Montenegro. There are so many must-see spots and something to suit most travellers. Here's some handy information about this beautiful country. Average temperatures in May, June, September and October make it an ideal time to visit this stunning country. Personally, I like to go in September, with temperatures ranging between 19 and 26 degrees above zero, with a light southwesterly breeze. Oh, that sounds almost perfect. If you can only go during the peak summer months of July and August, you will find higher temperatures with an average of 23 to 30 in July, or August 24 through to 31 degrees. Of course, you'll also see an awful lot more tourists. Montenegro uses the euro. Credit and debit cards are widely accepted in tourist destinations. The best way to explore the country is to hire a car. You don't have to go far to find really good food, as there are plenty of restaurants throughout Montenegro. Typical dishes include lamb cooked in milk, fresh octopus salad, and of course, seafood aplenty. Oh, and if you really fancy it, a plate of moussaka. The official language is Montenegrin. Some English is spoken in the tourist areas. If I've whet your appetite and you fancy heading to this jewel on the Adriatic, here's a few options of how to get there. Great value packages are available from EasyJet Holidays, Jet2 Holidays and TUI. Direct flights from the UK are available with EasyJet, Jet2.com and Ryanair. Connecting flights are also available via various European hubs with Air Montenegro, Air Serbia, Austrian Airlines and LOT Polish Airlines. Time now for us to look closer to home. Every month I'll be bringing you either a staycation or a day trip destination, which are all about discovering the wonders of our sceptred isle. The first of our UK features was a surprise to me, which is a tad embarrassing if I have to admit it, as I've lived fairly close by for many years but only recently discovered its hidden treasures.
Didn't we have a lovely time the day we went to Bangor? A beautiful day, we had lunch on the way and...
When you ask most people what they know about Harwich in Essex, the first thing that springs to mind is this: ferries to the Hook of Holland. However, Harwich is a treasure trove of historic sites, giving the day tripper the chance to step back through centuries of history. Harwich sits on the mouth of the River Orwell and the River Stour, and is located directly opposite Felixstowe. As you'd expect, the town's rich history has a definite nautical theme. Its maritime trail has 19 points of interest, which are all really easy to find thanks to these handy signs. What's really good is that all of the sites are within easy walking distance of each other. Along the trail you'll find the low and the high lighthouses, both constructed in 1818. The low lighthouse currently houses the Harwich Maritime Museum, small but perfectly formed. You'll also find the treadwheel crane built in 1667 for the naval yard. As you continue your meander along the seafront, you'll find the RNLI Museum. Climb the 90-foot to the top of the high lighthouse, they said. I said, don't worry, we've got a drone. Thank heavens for modern technology. Harwich is no stranger to famous residents or visitors like this lady behind me. Good morning, Your Majesty. might be in trouble. Queen Elizabeth I came to inspect the town's shipyard in 1561. The famous diarist and secretary for the Navy, Samuel Pepys, was MP for Harwich between 1679 and 1685.
And just behind me is the house of Christopher Jones, possibly Harwich's most famous resident. He was indeed the master and part owner of the Mayflower, the vessel that in 1620 sailed to the New World, taking the Pilgrim Fathers. I recommend that you do your day trip to Harwich at the weekends, as most of the historic sites are manned by volunteers, and to be sure that they're all open, the weekend is your best bet. It may not be a Banksy, but it's not alone when it comes to adding a little splash of colour and character to the town.
You don't have to walk far around town before you find some fantastic street art. A must-see for any visit to Harwich is the Halfpenny Pier, a personal favourite of mine. You'll find a visitor centre, an exhibition about the Mayflower, and a small cafe in which to enjoy a cup of tea. There's a monument to commemorate the Kinder transport that brought Jewish children from Germany to the United Kingdom in December 1938.
My feet can't touch the ground, and it feels like
You'll also find the famous boat that rocked, the LV-18, moored alongside the Halfpenny Pier.
slowly
Pirate radio fans, eat your heart out.
wave after wave, wave after
Thankfully, there is no shortage of watering holes in Harwich, so you're unlikely to be thirsty for very long. Time for a spot of lunch, methinks.
Back in the day, there were more than 80 pubs in Harwich. Today, there are at least 10, and I've chosen my favourite of them all, the Alma.
slowly drifting. My face above the wall.
I'm in the mood for something fishy for lunch,
My feet can't touch the ground, and it feels like
with a cheeky glass of cider as an aperitif. Cheers, everyone.
you are not around. Slowly drifting away, drifting away.
Freshly caught local crab, delicious.
Slowly
A low-calorie main surely means I can have something a little more indulgent for pudding.
pulling against the stream, pulling against the
Time to hit the streets and burn off that brownie.
A stroll through the streets definitely has me whisked back in time. I'm told that a lot of the cellars in these houses are interconnecting, which was particularly handy for the smugglers and anybody trying to avoid the press gangs.
Getting out of breath there, Jezza. Shouldn't have had that brownie. Just take a look at this. I am at a Napoleonic fort known as the Redoubt Fort. The fort was constructed in 1808 to protect the nearby port. It's easy to see why they actually chose this location to protect the boundaries of Harwich, just in case Napoleon and his forces decided to invade. Disability access is available via a stairlift. The fort was equipped with 10 guns on its battlements and below 18 casements where 300 troops lived in siege conditions. What's it like living here then, fellas?
Good day, old timer.
We'll have less of the old timer, thank you.
It's much like chilled.
Inside, it actually feels quite cool. So I should imagine it was very, very cold in the winter. Is it me? Or does this dude look a little bit like His Majesty the King? The museum also hosts a number of Napoleonic events, so if you're really interested in your history and you want it to feel authentic, check out their website to find out when the next one is due. I'm actually embarrassed to admit that I've lived near here for many years, but actually didn't even know it was here. How bad am I? I really like it here. It's fascinating because the fort itself has had lots of different uses, but its original construction, of course, was to ward off Napoleon. They thought was going to invade Britain. Thankfully, he didn't bother. Jumped up little corporal. The Redoubt Fort isn't the only military installation in the town. Just a short walk away from the Napoleonic site, you'll find the Beacon Hill Fort. Originally built in the 19th century, it saw use in World War I and was readapted in World War II, retaining the same basic plan. The fort contains 6 main gun emplacements, battery observation post, 2 pillboxes, shelters, accommodation for officers, a guard hut, store, workshops and much more. Work is underway to preserve the fort, which is arguably one of England's most important World War II sites. Its location, right at the mouth of the Orwell, definitely gave it a commanding view of the surrounding seas. What better way to end your day trip to Harwich than to spend some time at the Electric Palace? First opened in 1911 and is one of the country's oldest unaltered cinemas. They put on regular shows, live performances and of course blockbuster movies.
I've thoroughly enjoyed my time exploring the somewhat unexpected but fascinating history of Harwich. Time now for me to head off to find another of the hostelries to quench my thirst.
I love it when I find a spot oozing with history that offers the visitor easy to navigate experiences, and Harwich is certainly that. If, like me, you're curious to explore this unexpected find, here's how to get there. Frequent rail services operated by Greater Anglia will have you in Harwich in no time at all. If you want to arrive by sea, you can always hop on the Stena Line service from the Hook of Holland. It is quite a long journey though. Let's hope the seas are calm. And if all else fails and you're local, you might want to get on one of the bus services that comes from either Colchester or sunny Clacton-on-Sea. If driving's your thing, you'll find Harwich at the end of the A120 in an easterly direction. I'd recommend using public transport to get to Harwich so that you can enjoy a pint or two in the great selection of pubs on offer. Mine's a cider, thank you very much. Time now for the latest travel news. Lovers of Jordan will be delighted to hear that Royal Jordanian Airlines have introduced services from both Stansted and Manchester to Amman, the kingdom's capital. The Stansted services operate on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays and Sundays, and flights from Manchester operate on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. These of course are in addition to the airline's daily services from London Heathrow, giving customers greater choice and of course flexibility. Jordan is working hard to promote tourism, so these extra flights will certainly help, especially if you fancy exploring the wonders of Petra, which in my humble opinion should be on everybody's bucket list. British Airways has announced a £7 billion upgrade to its customer proposition, which some might argue, to include my good self, is long overdue. The carrier is introducing new cabins on its brand new short-haul aircraft. Older aircraft will continue to have the current cabin for the time being, I'm afraid. But we must accept that Rome wasn't built in a day. Their A380s will also be getting a makeover, and the flag carrier is planning to roll out refreshed premium lounges around the network, as well as introducing upgrades to its website and app. BA's biggest challenge, in my opinion, even if it doesn't wish to admit it, is how to make the delivery of its service consistent. The airline has long suffered from issues with achieving consistency across its operation, so I can only hope that some of the billions being spent will be directed at helping staff to perform consistently to the high standards we once enjoyed from the company, and that aircraft appearance will be maintained in a similar vein to some of their better rivals. Travellers who have been eagerly awaiting the launch of non-stop Qantas flights between London and Melbourne or Sydney are going to have to wait a bit longer than expected, as the carrier has announced a delay in the launch of non-stop services while it awaits the delivery of its Airbus A350 aircraft that have been earmarked to operate the services. Better news, however, for its travellers in Oz, as Qantas Link, the regional subsidiary of Qantas, has begun introducing the Airbus A220 to its fleet, which many will be delighted by, as the existing fleet of ageing Boeing 717s is long overdue replacing. I must confess to being a big fan of the A220, the av geek in me likes the capabilities and performance of Airbus's smallest aircraft. In cruise news, Swan Hellenic has announced details of its Northern Lights voyages across the Arctic, sailing aboard the SH Vega. The first itinerary takes in Iceland, East Greenland, and of course the Northern Lights. Sailing between August the 18th and the 30th, the 12-night circumnavigation of Iceland departs from Reykjavik with 4 port stops en route before returning to the Icelandic capital. I do like the SH Vega, as it offers a more intimate experience thanks to its smaller size. There's also a lot less deck to walk around in between ports and light watching, which is a bit of a Brucey bonus, as there's no point wearing yourself out if you don't have to. That'd be me. Elsewhere, Virgin Voyages is inviting food enthusiasts and adventurers to celebrate its 3rd annual Eat and Drink Festival, featuring diverse tastes and new events for a limited time only. They promise exceptional gastronomic experiences for guests, so I doubt you're going to see any jelly deals if that's your thing. Jelly deals. If you book for the event now, you'll enjoy a $200 bar tab that can be spent on specialty drinks on board. That's all the travel news for now, but I'll be keeping you up to date with the latest industry goings on in every episode. Our final destination sits in the Caribbean and is an island that until now hasn't seen too many British visitors. Personally, I think it offers a great alternative to the more popular holiday spots frequented by us Brits. Take a look at this. Puerto Rico, which is Spanish for rich poor, is located in the Caribbean Sea, approximately 1,000 miles southeast of Miami. San Juan, the capital, is packed full of Spanish colonial architecture, which is best enjoyed on foot, especially as you'll pass the odd bar or two as you explore. What a great excuse for a mojito! Or a rum punch. No visit to San Juan would be the same without seeing the castle of St. Philip, commonly known as El Morro, which is a large citadel in the historic district of the city. Commissioned by Charles I of Spain in 1539, it was built to protect the port from invasion during the Age of the Sail and has commanding views of the Caribbean Sea. There is an abundance of great restaurants and bars, so good food is never far away. Looks delicious. Hiring a car is a must if you want to really get to know the island. Our first road stop is the large cave of Cueva Ventana, close to the city of Arecibo. There are regular tours of the cave that last 45 minutes. You'll need a bit of energy though, as you'll have to negotiate some fairly steep, uneven steps, but the effort will be worth it. Your reward? Breathtaking views of the Rio Grande Valley of Arecibo. The cave has featured in a number of TV shows and films, to include Disney's Wizards of Waverly Place. The vista is somewhat reminiscent of a South American jungle. Time to hit the road again, in search of some beach action.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mambo number 5. One, two, three, four, five. Everybody in the car, so come on, let's ride to the...
Fajardo is located just southeast of San Juan and is a popular destination for tourists. You'll definitely find plenty of hotels and guest houses to choose from, whatever your budget. It's also home to the largest marina in the Caribbean, so it's a great place to hire a boat to explore the coast. Posing is of course optional, but if you can get away with it, why on earth shouldn't you? The island has over 300 miles of beaches, so golden sands and azure water is never far away.
Mambo number 5. Jump up and down and move it all around. Shake your hand to the sound, put your hands on the ground.
If boats aren't your thing, perhaps Isabella will hit the spot. The beaches and nearby forest trails are great for pony trekking.
Up to the mountains, the boring mountains. You say you wanna take me out to Las Vegas. Viva, Viva Las Vegas.
With so many long sandy beaches, it's possible to find your own stretch of beach without anyone to spoil your views. Bliss.
Compliments and promises can't fool me twice. Spreading lies like that around.
I was born in Puerto Rico.
Louisa is the perfect place to sample more local cuisine, even if the names will have you a little bit tongue-tied.
I reached the age of 16.
Mofongo.
I was
Yeah, it comes from the
running
word
with
mofungi. It's African. That's why we have the mofongo. With the M in Dominican Republic, they had the mango. And in Cuba, they had the fufu. So it's like a combination of the mofongo. We have the mofungi, it was from Africa, and then we have the mofongo. Then Dominican Republic had the mango. It comes like with the M and the F and the G. And then in Cuba, they have the fufu.
Fufu. I've heard of fufu.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No one knows you like I do. Nobody can know your heart the way I do. No one can testify to all that you've been through, but I will. I was born in Puerto Rico and my blood is Taino, Spanish Caribbean, my soul. We came here wearing summer clothes in winter, hearts of sunshine in the cold.
Poncha is the second largest municipality in Puerto Rico and is located on the southern coast of the island. Like San Juan, it has a wealth of colonial Spanish architecture in its historic quarter. The city is home to a number of museums, to include the Cereles Castle, which was built in the 1930s by Juan Cereles, the son of Juan Cereles. It's all very confusing. A merchant and businessman who founded the Cereles distillery. Today, the castle tells the story of the sugarcane industry and its impact on Puerto Rico's economy.
No one knows you like I do. Nobody can know your heart the way I do. No one to testify to all that you.
Be sure to explore the gardens once you've had a look around the mansion itself, as the landscape terraces offer some great views of the city.
I was born in Puerto Rico. Came here when I
Time now for us to head to our final destination on this wonderful island tour.
and I left these streets for good. My days
If you are looking for a natural sensory overload, look no further than the El Yunque National Forest. The forest is the only tropical rainforest in the US National Forest System. The Akayu Tower at 1,575 feet offers a great vantage point to see the expanse of forest. But if you're feeling particularly energetic, you can climb to the top of Mount Britain, where you'll find another observation post, this time at 3,075 feet above sea level. Rather you than me. There are 24 miles of forest trails.
Danamora, Sing Sing, Attica.
But perhaps the most relaxing feature of the forest are the waterfalls and rock pools. What better way to end a stay on the beautiful island of Puerto Rico?
The pages piling up in shade.
Although some of the days during filming were a bit overcast, Puerto Rico enjoys plenty of sunshine throughout the year, and I hope you got a feel for this alternative Caribbean destination. I love the Spanish vibe that can be found everywhere. Here's a bit of handy information about the island. Temperatures stay fairly static on the island throughout the year. However, for the very best of the weather, visit in February or March. Virtually no rain and an average temperature of between 22 and 30 degrees centigrade. Whatever you do, avoid September though, because this is hurricane season. If you do have to go in July and August, you'll still find the temperature very good at between 25 and 32 degrees. Bear in mind, however, you'll need a raincoat and it will be quite steamy as the humidity is at its highest. You'll need US dollars in Puerto Rico, and of course you'll be able to use your credit and debit cards freely across the island. As we saw in the film, if you want to explore the island, you'll need to hire a car. Delicious, affordable food is never far away on the island. Be sure to try the tripletta, a monster sandwich that can be found on almost any street corner. And make sure you try mofongo, the national dish. You should have no trouble being understood in Puerto Rico, as English and Spanish are the official languages. Getting to Puerto Rico does require a change of plane, but please don't let that put you off visiting. Here's just a few options of how to get there. As there are no direct services from the UK to Puerto Rico, you can catch connecting flights with American Airlines, British Airways, JetBlue, and of course, Virgin Atlantic. Lots of great value accommodation is available via Airbnb. You can of course build your own package using lastminute.com or Expedia. If you like being in control of all your own travel arrangements, much like my good self, then as you can see, you'll find plenty of options of how to get there and where to stay at prices that I promise won't break the bank. Now that we've visited our first 3 destinations for 2024, let's have a look at what will be coming up in the next episode. We'll be visiting the land of the Game of Thrones, yes, Croatia, a cultural gem to behold. We'll also be travelling through the Rocky Mountains in British Columbia. And we'll be finding out what's on offer to the day tripper when we visit Southwold on the Suffolk coast. Some great finds coming up in the next show, and I'm really looking forward to exploring them with you. They look good, don't they? They definitely look good. I do hope you've enjoyed being with me in the Departure Lounge and exploring Montenegro. Harwich, which wasn't the most glamorous of destinations, but it has oodles of history and of course pubs. And finally, the beautiful island of Puerto Rico. It's been a pleasure showing them to you. Please do feel free to get in touch with the show to let us know what you think. You can do so by emailing shows@jeremyspake.com, or alternatively use the handy form which is available online at jeremyspake.com. There's a lot of .coms in there. They know what they're doing though. They're experts. They'll be able to find us, don't worry. Thanks for being with me. I really do look forward to seeing you again very soon. In the meantime, stay safe. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and become a priority viewer. We do love a bit of priority.